Yeah, and I've heard somebody say Revelation almost seems to be like John's exposition of Matthew 24. And I thought that was a good way to think about it in some way. Obviously, it's not necessarily a completely perfect analogy, but I think when you see the connection between even all these things, Daniel and Matthew and Revelation, and see the similarities and that unity in the message that is kind of trying to come through about Christ's kingdom and the sovereignty that he holds over earthly kingdoms, the progress of the church here on earth being sent out from Christ, being sent out by their king unto the world. I think it's awesome to see that connection between all of those things. I think it makes it all make so much more sense than seeing them as like separate entities, right? Daniel's talking about this, Matthew's talking about this, Revelation's talking about something completely different, when in reality, they are all playing off of each other, right? John especially. John is writing while knowing the context of Daniel, knowing the context of Matthew, and explaining it to the readers. So when we're talking about the 10 horns, obviously that connection into Revelation, I think is definitely going to be important to help us kind of round our view of what it was talking about. So yeah, if you want to hop into Revelation 17, that'd be actually really great.
Okay, so there's a very popular method of interpreting the 10 horns in the book of Revelation, saying this is an alliance of 10 kingdoms who rule together in 1 hour. So that's like the key verse. And the key verse, that key phrase everyone focuses on in Revelation 17, is that these are not 10 separate rulers of the same kingdom who succeed each other, like in the chronological succession I proposed, but it's rather, now it's an alliance. I say there's a chronological succession if we compare Daniel 7 to Daniel 17:10. Right, it says there are 7 kings, 5 are fallen, 1 is, and 1 is not yet to come. And when he cometh, he must continue for a short space. So that's a chronology, because it talks about some that come before, 1 that is, 1 that comes after. All right. So this is the question we need to ask here. Are the 7 kings in Revelation among the 10 kings of Daniel, or is this something completely different? And I would say they're the same. So that represents a problem, because later on in Daniel it says 5 are fallen, 1 is not yet to come, and when he comes, he must continue a short space. Right? That's a linear statement. So the implication is there's a succession of kings. There's 5 Roman emperors who are fallen. There are Julius, Augustus, Tiberius, Caligula, and Claudius, who each fell before Nero, just like there are 3 kings who fell before the horn, the little horn, right? So this language is similar here. And specifically, Roman historians say Julius was assassinated. Augustus was not assassinated that we know of. But Tiberius, Caligula, and Claudius were all assassinated to make way for Nero. So it's interesting. I'm not saying that's definitely the interpretation, but it's interesting that historically that's what happened. The 6th emperor was Nero. So John writes, 1 is. And preterists who hold an early date view for Revelation say Nero was alive when John wrote the prophecy. And then the 7th would be Galba, and then Otto, Vitellius, Vespasian. Galba reigned only 6 months. He must continue for a short space. Okay, so that's pretty straightforward so far, but here's the difficulty. There are 10 horns, but no heads in Daniel. But in Revelation, there are 7 heads and 10 horns. So the way I solve it is very simply to say it's a recapitulation. The 7 heads in Revelation and the 10 horns are basically symbols of the same thing. So it's a recapitulation of the emperors of Imperial Rome.